Hello and welcome to the Sound Test Room. My name is Jakob, I'm your host and you're watching a haQ episode. Viewer Brian Siegfried Doring asked me, is there any way to trigger Icebark from something like Xynthesizr? And the answer is yes, there is. The first thing we're going to do is to open up the connection panel. It's in the upper right corner in Icebark. If you're wondering what this is, right now I've got Icebark loaded into AudioShare. That way I can record the audio at the same time I'm filming so that I can sync it to my video. Disregard from this thing right here. We're gonna concentrate on the thing right beside here to the right side. It says MIDI and it looks like a MIDI DIN5 connector. When tapping it, you get a box, and we're gonna jump down to this part right here. Drum instruments are mapped to note numbers 60 to 75. Arturia has already told us what note numbers we need to push to be able to trigger the drum sounds inside Icebark. And we can do that with any type of controller or synthesizer or drum machine that sends out MIDI note information. And just for the purpose of this video and to answer Brian, we're gonna use Xynthesizr. The next thing we're gonna do is to decode which notes have these specific numbers from 60 to 75. And what I would suggest that you do is actually to open up Safari and Google MIDI note number chart. And if we look right here, we can see that 60 starts at C on octave 4 and runs all the way up to B on octave 4. So we need to play on octave 4 from C and up to trigger the sounds. Alright, so, well, I've already opened up Xynthesizr, and if I can find it right there. Okay, the next thing we need to do is to properly set up the MIDI and the notes and everything. So what we're going to begin by doing is we are going to go to the sequencer tab right there. And the next thing we're going to do is to make sure that we're high enough to find the right type of octave right here, and it is in the blue area right now. But we're using the wrong scale and we need a chromatic scale so that we have all of the notes right here. So we go back into the sequencer tab and then we go into the scale list and we're going to find the chromatic scale. Exit the list, and if we check right now, then we have C4 up to B4 right here. That means all the notes being played inside this note range will activate the corresponding drum pads inside Arturia. Okay, so now that we got this set up, both Xynthesizr and Arturia is open, we've got the right note range, we know what notes will hit what, so we need to make sure that the MIDI from Xynthesizr runs out into Arturia and that Arturia responds to it. So we start inside Xynthesizr and we go to the MIDI tab. Now we make sure that MIDI is on, and then we need to check down here, and here we can see destinations, Icebark notes in. Then we activate the notes out, and now we are sending notes into Icebark. Also, go to the channel mapping. If we tap this, we will get a list that will show us the corresponding colors inside the pattern interface and what MIDI channel is triggering it. And right now, all of them are triggering on one. So what we need to do is just basically set Arturia Icebark to respond to Xynthesizr on channel 1. So hide those and go back into Arturia, and we still have the MIDI tab open, and here we can see Xynthesizr. So we need to activate this so it's on, and now we're receiving MIDI from Xynthesizr. The next thing we need to do is to check the MIDI channel, and we already know that Xynthesizr is going to send out MIDI on channel 1. So we need to go back to 1. Now we go back to Xynthesizr and start putting in notes. Alright, so if I press play now, we should hear sounds coming from Icebark. And that is basically how you set it all up. Now, as I said, anything that can send out MIDI note data can trigger Icebark. You just have to know how to set it up properly. And remember, you can always get a MIDI note chart on the web if you look for it, and that way it will be easy for you to decode what note does what in whatever kind of app you're in, if you want to, know what note. Anyway, I hope this answers your question, Brian, and that you have a lot of fun this evening. As all of you others also watching right now, I wish you a great weekend. As usual, Doug Woods, Colin Sweeney, and me, Jakob haQ at thesoundtestroom.com, wishes you a very productive week now. Go finger your stuff and have a lot of fun doing it.